Before we begin our episode, shall we view our most memorable old sightings of the Sudrian country? Okay, back to the present and the story. It was a hustling, bustling moment at the Blue Mountain Quarry, and Luke was just finishing his last load of the day.
Evening, Luke. You look down. Had a busy day.
Well, not only that, Sir Handel. It's just, for the past 10 years, I've worked at the Blue Mountain Quarry and never had a chance to physically view your entire railway.
Well, he has been outside the quarry, hasn't he, Sir Handel? Of course, he worked to the Ulster Castle once.
That was only from here to Ulfstead. I actually wish to see more green and fresh air, instead of the blue and musty dust. Later that evening, all the narrow gauge engines were about to rest when Mr. Percival came.
Good evening to you all. Now then, Scarlowy and Reneus, make sure you get some good sleep tonight for your tours tomorrow.
Scarlowy and Reneus loved the tours train. Every time they thought about taking the tours train, they would think about their most nostalgic moment. Their most favorite memory was their first couple of years on the island. As Scarlowy enjoyed his moment, Reneus spoke up. Sir, as much as I would endorse the train tours alongside with Scarlowy, I'm afraid I'm going to deny the offering this year. But Reneus, ye love that train, and ye and Scarlowy are always the engines taking 'em. With all due respect, sir, Luke has worked within the quarry for nearly a decade, out of sight from the entire railway. I feel like we should share our good fortune with our recent friend, Luke.
Reneus, are you sure you want to do this?
With all due respect, sir, I think we should shaken things up tomorrow and share our good fortune with our good friend Luke. I hope you understand, sir. A wide smile appeared on Mr. Percival's face.
Well, I'll have to arrange the schedules for you and Luke.
And so it has been arranged.
Good morning, Scarlowy. Who's your friend? This is Luke. This is his first time to pull an actual train across the railway. Oh, a first-timer. Well, Luke, I wish you the best of luck. Give it your best shot.
Thanks. One shot, one thrill.
Right then, with Luke, off we go. And here we have the wall.
Hello, Luke. How is everything so far? Look at the different gauges of track And the canals, and the...
Just pathetic. All this clunking and noise. Where's the green scenery? That is what we truly came here for.
Oh, well then, we'll head up north
And completely necessary. Why don't you two engines be separate? I mean, the scenery is great, but having another engine along could be very distracting.
Don't feel down, Luke. At least you are doing some different work for a change.
Unlike James here, who wants to do the same work as you.
But Skarloey, where should I go?
just improvise.
Plucking up courage, Luke decided to go his own way and leave Skarloey.
The countryside was quite beautiful, to be honest.
He had a lot of fun, especially when racing alongside of a boat.
Hello!
Meanwhile, along another part of the countryside, Skarloey was just showing the passengers his favorite selections of the line.
Here we have Benlock Station.
This is rather pleasing, but we've recently seen this in the CGI series. What about the ones that we've seen in the model series, or in the books?
Hello, Skarloey. How's the doors coming along?
Oh, hello, Reneus. Things are good.
I bet it is. I hope Luke is having a good time. Say, do you know where he is?
Well, now you've mentioned it, I do hope Luke is okay.
On the contrary, Luke was having a splendid time. Although he was being considerate, he hoped the passengers were having a good time just as he is. But I am happy to say they are very pleased.
Good day to you, Luke.
They eventually approached the lakeside loop and came to a stop where they seen Peter Sam.
Hello, Luke. How's the tour coming along?
Luke was nervous. He knew nothing about the lakeside loop, and Peter Sam could tell he was clueless.
It's okay. I got you. Yes, this is where I've accidentally left the refreshment lady behind.
That's right. We've seen that in the books and in the TV series. Thank you, Peter Sam. Luke was relieved, thanked Peter Sam, and started off. Their next stop was at an old location, and not just any old location. It was the old slate works, where Sir Handel was picking up some scraps.
Hello, Luke. How's your tour coming along?
Luke was nervous. He knew nothing about the old original slate works, and Sir Handel could tell.
I'll back you up. This is the slate works where Peter Sam had his accident and damaged his funnel.
Passengers were impressed. That was quite a story. Well, thank you for the fun fact. Luke thanked Sir Handel and scuttled off. Further down the line, they've approached the old mountainside. Luke hesitated. He was quite nervous.
Oh my,
This is really, really high. Looks higher than the mountains I've worked at. The passengers were astonished by the views, and Luke noticed. Well, if that's what they want, I shall give them a sight-see. Plucking up courage, Luke charged down the mountainside. Faster and faster he rolled. He tried to slow down, but he couldn't. The melting snow had made the rails slippery, and Luke couldn't stop. He was out of control.
Luke, you're not an express.
Scarlet! Oh dear, too fast! Everyone, please!
Luke! Luke, you all right?
Please send for help! The mess was soon sorted out, but Mr. Percival was not pleasant.
Luke, what was the meaning of this? Racing down the line at such a great speed? Well, this is your first passenger train, and at least no harm was done.
I'm very sorry, sir.
Never mind, Luke. At least you showed these passengers your locations. Speaking of old locations, doesn't this one look familiar?
I think it is. Yes, it's Elephant Park. This is where Duncan has accidentally threw the elephant statue into the lake. Although thankfully, it turned out to be a great success. Well then, I guess they really did have a good trip. The next day, Luke was refurbished and back at the quarry.
Good to see you again, Luke. So how was your trip?
It was quite neat. A true experience. This was one memory Luke would cherish permanently. And no matter where the narrow gauge engines are, would always be Luke's home.
The engineer, they say, made an error in controlling the train. Before leaving the locomotive, he intended to apply the independent brakes, and then by the time he realized his mistake, the train was going too fast for him to climb back on. We're being told now by a spokesperson for the Public Utilities Commission that this employee will be held accountable.